So this is a quick career counseling guide that I wanted to discuss. This slide I have prepared based on my 15 years of experience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the different fields of IT in which you can step your career. Or let's say if you're already working in IT, this slide, which we will not spend too much time on, will guide you how you can actually switch to a different career. Okay, so I call it a welcome to IT industry, and you will get all the slides and everything. So don't worry. I know this slide was very flashy, isn't it? All of a sudden, too much of red color. I know that is kept on purpose to keep you all active and make this more and more attractive. So these are the different doors, nothing to do with SQL at the moment. These are the different doors of IT in front of you. This is a career counseling slide where I'm going to show you the different doors which are in front of you. How many of people who are attending this session are totally freshers, still studying, want to go into the field of IT? How many of us are there? Can you just let me know quickly? Okay, I can see a lot of hand raises. 14 participants already raised, and a lot of people who want to jump into the field of IT. Wonderful, guys. So this slide, I am very hopeful, will be very, very useful for you. So please be very attentive and listen. If you have any questions, we will definitely discuss. I tend to keep all my sessions very interactive. I would love to hear from you as well, right? I just don't want one-to-many communication. Yes, so I got to know a lot of people are freshers. I've read that in the chat. Superb. But now what I'm going to show you are the different fields of IT in which you can either start your career, or let's say you're already working in IT. Life is so good, you never know that you are really fascinated about a different career and you want to start your career. Okay, let's have a look. There are 6 doors in front of you: developer, tester, business analyst, project manager, designer, support. Okay, some of you are sending me a chat message saying, ma'am, I wanted to know which is non-coding side, which one is a management side of the IT career, which is the backend side. Do not worry, hopefully all your questions will be answered. Okay, so let's all fasten our seatbelts and be ready. Right, so developer or the data analyst. I wanted to know from you all first, who do you think is a developer? Who is a developer? It's a very commonly used word. He's my friend is a developer in TCS, right? My cousin is a developer in Infosys. We hear that. Who's a developer? Those who know how to write the code, people who know coding, people who build applications. Wonderful answers. People who develop codes. Okay. What else? Who develop applications. Very good. Wonderful. Who develops UI? Okay, there is another role for that. We can talk about it. Developing the apps. Brilliant. Somebody who will work for 13 to 14 hours a day with a coffee in the seat, and having just coffee and working, coffee and working, coffee and working. Is that a developer? Am I right? A really very, very hardworking individual, isn't it? Yes, somebody just who drinks coffee and then just keeps on working, working, working. Okay. I'm glad nobody answered this as the answer. That was my own, my experience says that. I've seen developers doing that. All right. Developer is someone who's going to build applications. Those applications could be a web application, mobile application, desktop-based application. The other day, I wanted to buy something from the Reliance Digital, right? So I went to Reliance Digital application. What is this? This is a web application where I can go, I can buy stuff. The other day, I wanted to do a transaction from my mobile phone, and I've got an HDFC Bank app on my mobile phone. What is that? A mobile application, right? The other day, I suspected there is a virus in my system, and I downloaded a antivirus system. This antivirus system is not on a website. This antivirus system was not on my mobile phone. This is something which I downloaded on my app, on my system, on my application, on my desktop. And what was that? The system level app, isn't it? So developer is someone who helps us to build applications. It could be a web application, mobile application, or it could be a desktop based application. And if you think you are a kind of a person who likes building, who likes to get updated with the latest trends of the technology, this field of career is for you. Some of you are asking me questions in the chat, which is the best field to go as a fresher, guys. These all doors are good for you. These all are good. It depends on your interest, and that is what I wanted to definitely spend on some time before we even dive into SQL. So developer is someone who's going to build applications, but what all do you need to know before you start building the applications? These are all the trending technologies, which I'm sure you might have heard, maybe in your college or university or high schools. These are some of the technologies. Some of you mentioned the word full stack, right? Java, Python, C++, Visual C. If you want to go for web development, you would go for HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. These are some of the technologies. And definitely what is needed, I've written a word which is going to be the driving force of today's and tomorrow's section, and that is the database, right? Developer. Anybody who wants to add something? Meanwhile, I'm going to quickly read some chats. Rohan says, ma'am, what about data science? Data science is one of the booming careers, Rohan. And if you want to go into the field of data science, can you see I've written a word data analyst? This career is for you. And what do you need to know before you do this? You need to know data structures, databases, a language Python. That is very, very important. Vishal Singh is asking, support is good for how long? We'll come to the support, which is the last door on this slide. We'll talk about it. Okay, Rohit is asking, ma'am, SQL, NoSQL, PySQL, which is most required? SQL is majorly required here. On top of that, if you know good other databases, other structures, good, right? Power BI, cloud, data science. Yes, these are some of the fields which will all fall under this category. Building applications. Divyanshi, is knowing only one computer language enough? See, very good question here. If I know Python and I get a project on Java, I can definitely upgrade myself. Whenever you learn a programming language, it is just the first language which gives you a little bit of trouble, because that's the first time you're learning a language. But after that, if you tend to learn any other language, it will always be easier. So on a good side, you should always know at least 2 to 3 languages, so that, as and when a project comes, you can handle it. Okay. Right. So these are some of the careers here in the slide, which have good scope. And data science, yes, most of you are asking about data science, good career, definitely. Let's move on to the next field. And that next field is the field of a tester. How many of you know who's a tester? What is the best language? Okay, Python, Java, every language is good, dear. It depends upon which project you are working on, which technology you are using. Okay, Python is one of the booming technologies as of now. .NET is also good, yes. Okay, let's talk about tester. Gautam, someone who can locate the bug and correct it. Very good. Santosh has written a word Selenium. Okay, who's a tester? The question is, Anoop, very good. Someone who will test the software, how it works. Someone who will find the bugs. Excellent. If you think you are a kind of a person who can test the application, find the bugs in the application, and make sure that this application is fit for use, this career is for you, tester. You will not write code, you will test the application. So if I have to test the Reliance Digital application, I will be testing these applications with different scenarios. What happens if I click on login? If I give a valid and an invalid credential, what happens? What happens if I click on register? Understood? So these are the different things which are expected from you from the testing career. And if you want to go into the field of testing, these 3 things are recommended. The manual testing concepts, you should know how the testing is done. Now, every time you cannot just do the testing of a software manually. So let's say Dinesh wanted to test this application for 10,000 users. If you want to do that, it's not going to be practically possible with manual testing, right? So you need automation testing. Someone brought up the word Selenium. Very well done for that. So automation testing can be done through one of the tools, which is Selenium. Okay. Testing career. The third career is the career of a business analyst. Now, who's business analyst? Business analyst, very good, Divyanshi, is going to be someone who will analyze the business, understand, right, what all needs to be done. See, the thing here is the developer is the one who's going to build the application, tester is the one who will test the application, and business analyst is one who's going to understand the requirement, go and meet the client, understand the requirement. So if you think you're a kind of a person who's good in communications, you like going to the people, talking to them, and you think you're a kind of a person who will be able to understand the requirement and guide it to the team, in that particular case, this career is for you. There are some BA certifications which you can go and do. Some of you are asking me about the ISTQB. ISTQB is a certification which is recommended for you to do. It stands for, ISTQB stands for International Software Testing Qualification Board. It's a very, very important certification. If you think you are good, go for the certification. Okay, I hope that answers your questions. BA certifications. Yes. Okay, there are some questions coming again. The material, the video recording, guys, everything will be provided. Don't worry, relax, you will get it. Okay, let's focus on understanding these doors. The next door is the door of a project manager. Can anybody help me answer? Ramanji Reddy, very good. Somebody who will manage the project, someone who will plan and execute the project. Very good. What else? Yes, Albin, this has a certificate that you will be given a certificate. Somebody who will be responsible for planning and overseeing. Wonderful. A person with a stick in his hand, moving around, asking the developer, when will the work be done? How much time it is going to take? Asking the tester, how much time? Are we on time? All those questions. So all of you are correct. Somebody who will manage the overall project, somebody who knows the details of the project, somebody who's going to talk about how many people are needed, what is the cost associated, so many different things. And if you are kind of a person who think you like managing people, you good with technology. See, nowadays, it's not that you just only need to know the management of the skills. No, if you have good technical skills, that will always help you. When I talk about the project management role, the PMP, Prince2 are the two widely recognized certifications which you can go for. Plus, obviously, you need to have that skill set of managing people. All right. Let's move on to the next career. Any questions as of now? Let me go to the chat. Any questions, anything you want to ask? Akhil says, ma'am, if I am familiar with PHP, can I switch to the other languages? Why not, Akhil? Why not? Why not? Ramachandra, very good question. Does the BA or the project manager knows the programming? Do they need to learn the programming language? See, you don't need to, but if you have that skill set, you will definitely shine as a career in business analyst. So if you have spent a couple of years, 4 to 5 years as a developer or tester, and you know the in and out of the application, how the application gets built, it's definitely a plus point. It's definitely a plus point. Okay, there is a lot of scope of web development as well. What does SQL means? We'll come to that very quickly. Salesforce administrator, Anshula, you would go under the developer field. Okay. Some of you are saying, ma'am, networking also is a field. Yes, I have clubbed everything over here. If you're a networking engineer, I've put that here. That is all going to go inside. Python is the most preferable language for freshers. Yes, that is correct. Naveen, Power BI, SQL, correct. All right. We can stop now and we will move on to the next door. The role, the door for the designer. How many of you know what is designer? Who's a designer? What is the designer role? Someone who will design applications. Very good. Good answers. Someone who will design applications, create the wireframes, and make and tell how the application will look like. Very good. I'm going to introduce you to a very quick word, and that is wireframing. If you've heard about it, good. If not, don't worry, I'm going to explain it. Wireframing is what the designer does. Let's say if I want to build my house, do I just collect the bricks and the cement and give it to the mason and I say, hey mason, here, how are you doing? Take this bricks, take this cement, take all the material and start building my house. Does that happen? It doesn't happen, right? You go to the architect, you meet the architect, you tell him or her the requirements. I need a duplex house with 1 bedroom below, 2 bedrooms on the first floor. I want this kitchen to be look like this. I want this much covered area. I want this much veranda. Different requirements would come through your mind. And what does it is architect do? He gives you a blueprint, a sketch. And that sketch you take it to the mason and you say, I want to build house something like this, isn't it? That's how it happens. So you just cannot open the editor and start coding and start making the database designs and start. No, that doesn't work. You do a kind of a wireframing, and who helps you to do the wireframing? It is none other than the designer. I know you can see my screen, but that is not very prominently visible. All this is having, is a mobile application wireframe. How the mobile application will look like. Or how about a wireframe like this? Have a look. This is saying that there will be a rolling promo image. Then we would have some select cinema, select film date, looks like it's something like book my show application, right? So you have to design it first. So if you think you are that kind of a person who can listen to the requirements from the business analyst properly, and then you can convert it into fancy wireframes like this, or prototypes, or user interface, this job is for you. Designer, that is all some fancy names we call them in the industry, isn't it? UI designer, UX designer, user interface, UX designer, different, right? So very good role again. If you think this is something which interests you, this is the field for you. Designing. The last role is the role of support. I want someone to answer in the chat. Anyone? Support. Who's the support team? Okay, Vishal already decided to go in designing field. Okay, you said yes, me, ma'am. I'm ready. Okay, support, customer support after release. Very good, Vijay Kashyap. Hinduja, technical support, maintenance, Vinay Swaroop, sale marketing, Venkata, backend. Very good. The developer, the tester, the business analyst, the project manager, the designer worked on the application. This application was finally given to the client. Can the client and the application be left alone? Not a very good idea. We need someone from the support team to support. We need someone who can actually support the client. If the client calls and say this thing is not working, there should be someone who can guide through, right? So if you think you're a kind of person with good communication skills, and any product that you want to support or you have to support, you can grasp the product knowledge in a very good way, this role is for you. Okay. So these are the quick 6 doors in which you can step your career. If you want to, you feel like taking a snapshot, let me just clear the annotations, the marks that I was doing on this so that you can take a clear picture. If you want to take, you can please take it. Feel free to go that ahead. The slides anyways, we will try sharing with you. Okay, will be shared. So I'm going to just bring it up again, a clean slide. These are the different fields of IT. All right. I hope this was useful. Now you know that these are 6 fields in which you can step your career. Okay, Santosh is asking, let me take quick questions now and then we'll dive into the sequel. Zeppelin. So Santosh is asking, ma'am, you've written Zeppelin and mockup under designer, but what is that? Santosh, Zeppelin and mockups are the tools which the designer uses and they create designs on that. So you should learn these tools so that you can make some fancy designs. Okay. All right. Next question is Ernell, ma'am, please suggest best course that freshers should take and get a job. The booming industry is around the Python, data science and machine learning. If you look at the best job or the most striking job across the globe, data science is rarely picking up. Python is a language which you should go for, one of the really booming career. Having said that, this doesn't mean the other careers are not good. It depends. If you really want to move into development, data science, then that is definitely a very good job. Support job is definitely good. Shreyashal, it depends upon your interest. Do you like resolving people issues? Can you understand the concepts clearly? What people are saying? Can you help them support the product? Navnath, can you repeat the ISTQB? ISTQB certification came under the testing career. So if you are into the field of testing, this is one of the good recommended certifications which you can give. Okay. Any other questions? If you go for database career, yes, that is good. Mangli, that is definitely good. Java developer again is a booming career, definitely. Okay, how do we search jobs after we learn SQL? Mr. Ravi, when he is on board, he'll explain you through LinkedIn what all you can do. He can explain it to you. Java is good for freshers, yes. Python is good for freshers, yes. Okay. All right, so I can see so many messages, guys. As much as I want to read all of them, it won't be possible. We should take this slide really in a positive way. We should make sure we have understood that these are the different fields of career in which we can step our career or probably move our career later on. And whatever technologies are written, it's not that you need to know all of these technologies. No, decide what career is best for you, and then accordingly you can make a choice. Okay, let's now quickly dive into the concepts of SQL, the backend, and we will restrict ourselves in asking the questions related to the SQL only. Okay, is that all clear? Let's start with the SQL structured query language. The whole idea of this workshop is to start from a very basic concept of what is a database, how does a database work, and then we are going to also pick up on SQL. Okay. Meanwhile, as I'm reading the chats, a lot of questions are coming around the database. Is this a good career or not? Is SQL very useful in the industry? Definitely. The answer for all this is yes. Okay. Whatever fields of career you have been into, Anoop, electronics, mechanical, civil, it depends how quickly you can grasp the programming languages, the database concepts. It all depends on that, right? Right. Okay. So let's get started. And we will talk about, first of all, a word called front end and back end. We need to talk about what is front end, what is back end. How many of you have heard about front end, back end? Front end is something which you look. When you look at the application, how does it render? How does it look like? Going back to my Reliance Digital application, this Reliance Digital application, which I gave you an example before, what you see on the screen is the front end, the UI, how it looks like. There is a television, there's another television. As you scroll down, it shows me some phones. It shows me vacuum cleaners, different products. This is the front end, isn't it? But every front end that you have will have something which has something called as backend or the database. When I search for, let's say I wanted to buy a chimney, and I search for chimney and I click on search. What happens as I click on chimney and search? You can see there is a loader. If you missed it, I'll show it to you again. As I search for chimney and click on search, you will see a quick loader. And then can you see on the screen, it has brought up different chimneys for me with their price, with the offers that are available, how much discount is there, what are the feature list, if you want to compare it, wish list. Where is this information all coming from? The backend, right? This all information is coming from the place where it is stored. You go to the hospital, and as you go to the hospital, you give all your details. What they do? They feed in your details. They put your details, the name, the age, the doctor that you're referring to, what symptoms do you got, any information that you provide. What do? They write it down, right? Where do they write it down? Using a front end, maybe they open a form and write it down. And where does that data go? That data will go none other in the database. You go to the university website and you search for courses. You go to the university website, search for courses, put the course that you're interested in. What does it do? It gives you a list. Where is that list coming from? A database. So a database is nothing but a backend, a place where the information is stored. The information can be taken from that database, or you can put the data into the database, or you could update the database. So let's say one of us, maybe Hariharan, wanted to update the address. You could update it. Or let's say Yukta wants that the address should be deleted, some record should be deleted. That is possible. That can be all done. So there are different operations which you can perform on the databases. I hope it is clear. So as we talk about now, we are very clear as to what is front end, something which you can see, right? Something which you can, it renders, and a website or a mobile application, the screens, that's a UI front end. And what is a back end? The something which is storing the information, right? And for front end, you've got different languages. You've got Python, Java, C++, HTML, different scripting languages. Like for front end, you've got these different applications. Similarly, for back end, also you've got some languages which helps you to operate the databases. And one such language is SQL. People call it SQL, SQL, you can call it anyway. So SQL is nothing but a language to operate the databases. When I say operate, it means I would create a database, delete, get the records, modify, do different things. So this SQL is basically an ANSI. ANSI is American National Standard Institute. It is an ANSI standard language, and there are different versions of the SQL language. There are many, many different versions of SQL language. Okay, so SQL stands for nothing but structured query language. This is the full form, structured query language, which is actually a computer language which will help you to store, manipulate, retrieve data and store the data in the relational databases. Okay, so it's one kind of a standard language which is used for your databases. All clear? Good. Okay, no questions. Nikhil has asked a good question. Why SQL is required for data scientists too? So Nikhil, as a data scientist, what do? You've got huge amount of data, right? So for example, I wanted to see for the stock, in the stock industry, how the shares is, booming or falling down. There's a lot of data behind it, right? So if you know SQL, you can definitely process the information. Chakravarti, SQL a good career in future? Definitely Chakravarti. Database administrators, the DBAs, this is one of, again, very good career. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. If this is all clear, let's go ahead and let us now look at the definition here. So it's a SQL is a structured query language. As we discussed, it is a computer language for storing, manipulating, retrieving data stored in the relational databases. All your relational database management systems are MySQL, MS Access. These are some of the names. Oracle, you've heard very commonly, right? Oracle, SQL Server, they all use SQL as a standard database language. But the question here is, why do we choose SQL? What is so unique in SQL that helps us, it puts it par as compared to the other technologies? There are a couple of things here. It allows user to access the data in relational database management systems. That is the first big benefit. It allows user to describe the data. It allows user to define the data in database, manipulate the data, and it allows user to create, drop databases and tables. These are the different benefits which the SQL helps us to achieve. Even before we move ahead, let us try to understand the overall SQL structure. How is the SQL structure defined? On the left hand side, you can see the information of two students. The name of the students is Amit and Kapil. What is the age of both the students? 10 and 10. And this roll number is the number which has been given to both these students. This is a unique number which has been allocated to both the students. If you look at this table has some rows and columns, which is not something new for us. When we look at any table, any information that we have, what information do we have? How do we store it? We store it in the form of rows and columns, isn't it? So any information will get stored in the form of a row and a column. And in this row and a column, these are my columns, these are my rows. So any information that I have, it will get stored. You can see there are some technical terms. Columns are also called as fields. The rows are also called as records. And this full thing over here with me is nothing but a table. And this big structure that you see above this is kind of a database. Right? Let's try to understand it in a very simple way. Some of us love to live in flats. Right? Many of us live in row houses. Some of us love to live in flats. That full flat building represents a database. But within that flat, within that building, you got different flats on different floors. Those different floors, houses, or the flats that are built, you can treat them as small tables within a big database kind of a building. Right? So multiple tables is something which will go inside a building, or multiple tables is something which will go inside a database. Database is a repository, is going to have lot of inbuilt small tables. And from this database that I have in front of me, this table I have from me, I can either select the details, I can either add another third student in this, or I could update the age of Amit. Let's say it's Amit, happy birthday today, and he's no longer 10, he's now 11 years. I can go and update 11. Or let's say I don't want to store Kapil's detail, I can delete it. Different operations you can perform. So for any application that you build, be it a banking application like ICICI Bank application, or be it a hospital management system in Fortis Hospital, or be it a software which the courier company uses, any application that you build will have two things. To put it simple, just two things. The front end, which is how it looks like, the back end, what it is actually storing. Okay. Any questions with what we have discussed till now? RDBMS, does it stand for Relational Database Management System? Yes, that is the full form. You will get all the video recordings, guys. What else? Bank is also using the databases. Definitely. That is a very good point, Dinesh. Very good. Yes, when I go to the bank and they say they take my account number and I say my account number is this, my account name is this, what do? They give me the balance, right? They don't know the balance themselves. They actually get it from where? They get it from their system, from their database. And they tell me you got X amount of INR in your account. All right. Primary key, foreign keys, we're going to talk about. I know many of you are excited. We'll talk about these things. We'll definitely talk about. Okay. How will you get the recording sessions? At 8 p.m. sharp, Mr. Ravi would come and he will explain it to you. Everything would be provided. Okay, let's move on to the next slide and let's try to understand how a SQL process actually works. Okay. This is my database. Now we all know what is a database, something which will store the information. I gave you different examples. I gave you an example of banking application, mobile application, a logistics application, right? Every application has a database, but how do you reach that database? How do you fetch the information from that database? You write something which is called as a query. The word is query. If you're doing a front-end language, if you're writing a front-end language, let's say Python, Java, C++, what do you write? You write some set of instructions. You write a set of instructions which is called, anyone in the chat, can you tell me what is a set of instructions called? Whenever you write a front-end application, code, program, yes. I write some set of instructions. I write some program. When I have to do the same thing in my database, I write some queries. When I write some set of instructions in the front end, I follow something which is called a syntax. Another question for you. What is a syntax now? What is a syntax? So much so I want to hear from all of you guys. I won't be able to. So I think this chat is working very well. I can see a lot of enthusiasm in this chat. Very good, Alekia, Abhinay, Vishal, very good. Some set of rules that I need to follow, right? If I'm learning to speak English and I keep speaking English like this and I say, it is a boy, it is a girl, she is a boy. What does that mean? I don't know the syntax. I don't know how to speak English. Why? Because I don't know, I'm not following the rules of English language. One basic rule is if it is male gender, use he, female use she. non-living it, right? So I have to follow the syntax of any language that I learn to speak, be it German, French, Romanian, Polish, any language, isn't it? So our programming languages also have some syntax which needs to be followed. And the same syntax you definitely have to follow in the queries also. So there are some rules how you can write your query. If you don't follow that rules, trust me, you cannot move ahead. So any SQL query that you write will be fed to the query language processor, who will check whether the query is correct, everything is fine, pass it next to the engine, which will help you process the query. And finally, it will access your database, which will either give you the information or update itself or delete some records or probably update the record. Some kind of an operation you would love to do on a database. So very quickly, we're going to talk about these terminologies: data, database, RDBMS, SQL. We are going to talk about, take a quick introduction of all these terminologies we have. Soon after that, I want to introduce you to the setup of SQL, how you can install the system. Now, immediately, I think within 2 hours of time, we will not spend too much time in setting it up, setting the database, but I'll definitely love to guide you how this database is set up, and then you can take it as a homework. You can try completing it. Meanwhile, this will not hinder our learning today, because I'm going to give you an online SQL editor where we can run our queries, where we can write our queries. So I'll give you that editor. We'll continue to use that. Some of us, who are using laptops on which the admin rights are not there. Let's say if it's your work laptop, you're not able to install SQL, or whatsoever reason it is, you're not able to install. It doesn't mean you cannot practice SQL. I'll give you an online editor link which you can refer to. All right. Is everybody with me? I just want to see the enthusiasm, guys. Right? Yes, if you are with me. Venkatesh, Naveen, I could not even read the name and the chats are booming. Great, good. That means everybody is with me. Good job. Let's carry on, guys. Let's take every single minute productive in this session. So we've got these 4 terminologies, and why to wait? Let's quickly discuss what these 4 words are: data, database, RDBMS, and SQL. I want to know from all of you, what's data to you? What do you understand by the word data? Madhu, how do I write SQL queries and see the output? Do not worry, we will talk about it. What is data? Raw information, raw facts, something which is not put in a correct way, isn't it? Boy is Mohan. Is Mohan boy? I wanted to say that Mohan is a boy, but I just keep jumbling my words here and there, and I present it in front of you. Yes, I can see the answers, guys. Data is some raw information, right? Something which is in crude. And that same data, if you put it in a correct way, what it becomes? It becomes information. Data is a raw form of information. All this data, all this information is stored. Where is it stored? It is stored in the database, right? Now comes the next terminology, which is RDBMS. How many of you have heard about RDBMS? What does the full form of RDBMS means? RDBMS full form is, very good, Relational Database Management System. But what is RDBMS? It's nothing but a software. It's a software which will help you to store, manage, write the data, and retrieve the data in a relational database. It's a kind of a software which will help you do the things. Okay. So assume there is a user here, right? This is one of us. This is the user, right? This RDBMS will give the interface between the user and the different applications and the databases. RDBMS is kind of a software which will link, which will do a handshake, which will provide an interface between the users and the applications and the database. So all those administrative functions of managing data, accessing it, performance, everything RDBMS helps us to do. And some very popular examples of RDBMS are MySQL, Oracle, IBM, Some of you would have heard about DB2, Microsoft SQL Server databases. These are some of the common RDBMS systems. So a kind of a collection of programs which will help teams to either to do any kind of operation that you want to do over the databases. Okay. And one such language which helps you to operate on the RDBMS is a SQL, structured query language. Okay. I hope these things are crystal clear. So there are different dialects which you can use. So for example, if you can use a MS SQL server, if you're using, you can use another language called T-SQL. If you're using Oracle, you can use PL SQL. Okay. If you're using a MS Access version of SQL, you can use Jet SQL. So these are some different dialects which you can use. But what is the benefit of SQL? That is what we need to talk about. What is the main, why SQL is so much popular language? Can anybody let me know the reasons? PostgreSQL, yes. Good. So what is the main reason why SQL is so popular? The SQL gives user a lot of flexibility when you handle the RDBMS. That is one big reason. SQL will allow the user to access the data in RDBMS. It will also allow the user to describe what kind of data you want to store, right? It will allow user to define the data in the database, change the data if you want to. Plus, one very big advantage of SQL is that it can very easily get interacted, embedded with other languages. There are very powerful modules in SQL, which helps it to get very easily integrated with other technologies. How about Python? Yes, it can get very easily. SQL helps user or allows the user to create the databases, make the databases, delete the databases. So these are some of the things which, are very powerful. Plus, it will also help you get some permissions, which are very, very important. If you all are working in the same project, not everybody might get an admin right? So you can set the permissions that, okay, these 5 people will only be able to delete the database. These 2 people can only update. Rest of the people can at least view. Right? So you can set the permissions on the tables, the databases, the views that you create through SQL, which makes it more and more powerful. Okay. I hope this makes sense. Any questions till now regarding whatever we have covered? Okay. Now there are some terminologies. When I talk about RDBMS, there are some terminologies. We are going to go ahead and we are going to talk about those terminologies. The very first terminology, we talked about a table. What does a table actually look like? Let's have a look. A table looks like something like this. You all can see my screen. Can you? You can see my screen in which you can see a table which is created. This table has ID, name, age, address, and salary, and it is storing the information of all these people, right? So what is this? This is nothing but a table. The next terminology is a field. What is field? This table that you see on my screen, it is broken up into smaller entities, right? Look at this word customers or a customer table which has ID, right? How about the name, the age? What are these? Each of these is a field. So these fields are nothing but the columns in the table which are made in order to give some meaningful information, right? And the other very commonly used term is record or a row. Record or row is this, something which I'm highlighting right now. One, Ramesh, age 32, address Ahmedabad, and how much salary does he withdraw? 2000. So this is what? This is a record, which is also called as a row. So it is not wrong to say that this is one of the records, right? While this is something which I've got a column. Okay. I hope this is clear. The basic terminology is the record, the field. Is it clear? Field is the column, record is the row. Okay, let's quickly move on to the next slide in which I'm going to introduce you to editor. How many of you have heard about the word editor? It's not something relevant only to databases. If you have done coding in C++ before and all, what is an editor? Can you write down editor? IDE, Vinay Swaroop, very good. Workplace, very good. Where you write the code. Excellent, I got the answers. Editor is a place where we can write the code. Editor is the environment in which we can actually write something. Very good definitions. To put it in simple words, let's say I had a very nice thought in my mind, right? And I wanted to write that thought somewhere. What do? I find a page in my house, or maybe a notebook in my house, or maybe my diary where, I pen down my thoughts. I'm very happy over something and I wanted to write it down. What made me happy? I was sad about something and I really wanted to write it down. Somewhere where we try to put our thoughts, right? Is that diary, that piece of paper that is in front of us. Similarly, any programming language you learn or any database language you learn, you need a place where you can write your code, isn't it? Without that, can you write your code or your query? No. If you are doing a front-end coding and you want to write some set of instructions, you need an editor. On the other hand, if you are writing your learning databases and you wanted to write a query, where would you do? On a database editor. So I'm going to introduce you to one such editor. Though that is not the only editor, you can use many other interfaces where you can write. But still, I'm going to show you the SQL Server installation, how you can install that. In addition to that, we will use the online editors. So there will be no hassle of installing. So use any editor that you want, doesn't matter. Once you write the program or once you write the query, what do you get is the result, right? So for example, I wanted to select all the students in the class whose marks are greater than 85. So I went to that database and I said, look, what I want from you is all the students' name and their roll numbers who have scored more than 85 marks. And what does a database do? It gives the operation, does the operation, and it gives me something which is result. So let's say there were 15 students who have got marks more than 85. What will it do? It will give me the result that these are the students who have scored more than 85 marks. So what is result? Result is something that you are getting when you give the output, when you give the input. So looks like there is something called an input, which gets fired to my database. And from this database, what I get is something which is the output, isn't it? So I've got this input, which is my query, which gets fired to this database. And this database gives me the meaningful information, result. Okay. The government of India wanted to know how many people have vaccinated themselves with COVID. No, the vaccination of Covaxin or Covishield, whatever vaccines are available, they wanted to know. How would they know? They wanted to retrieve the result from the database. They fired some query on the database, which told them X number of people have vaccinated themselves. They fired another query which told them these many people have not vaccinated themselves. That is how you get the information, isn't it? That is how you say X percentage of Indian population have been vaccinated. There is some details stored there, isn't it? So that is the result that you fetch. Message and Object Explorer is something which we are going to see in the upcoming slides in more detail. But before that, let me just introduce you to the SQL environment, the different terminologies that we use. So let's have a quick look at the different windows in a SQL editor. So this is a Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, which is one of our editors where we can write our code. How to install it, I'm going to show it very quickly. But just let's quickly have a look at the different names on this window. This is the area where you will be writing your query. Right? You wanted to select something from the database, you wanted to write into the database, whatever you wanted to write. This is the area, guys, where you will be writing. This is the editor window where you will be writing the code or your query. right? This is the place which is called as Object Explorer. What does the word Object Explorer means? This will store the different, tables, the database information, any kind of settings that will all be part of this window. And once you have written the query and you've clicked on the execute query, see, whenever you've written something, you want to run it, right? So once you've written the query and you've run it, where will the result come? Over here. This is called as my result tab. So over here, if you can see, I'm trying to fetch some results, select something from the student. I try to fetch it. Who's given it to me? The result tab is actually giving me the details of all the students, Rohit, Amit, and Rahul. And it is also giving me the roll numbers. So can you all visualize how you can use this editor? Yes? Okay. Even before I go ahead and try to introduce you to DDL, DML, DQL, I wanted to go a little slow. Let me take this 4-5 minutes of time in taking your questions, and then I will hand it over to Mr. Ravi, who would love to guide you for 5-10 minutes, and then we will resume after he has finished. Okay. All right, let's take up some questions now. Any questions, guys? Functional dependency. Ma'am, are database jobs also active, creative, innovative as the development role? That is equally interesting. Yes, if you think about any application that you talk about has front end and back end. So both the front end, your programming languages, and the back end, your database knowledge is important, it is useful, and it is a promising career. Okay. Can B Pharmacy graduate learn this? Why not? Can I learn SQL without any programming experiences? Why not? Yes. Most of you have asked me the difference between DBMS and RDBMS. So let me explain this as well as a group question. This is coming again and again. So DBMS, RDBMS we just talked about, right? Relational Database Management System. Something which you've heard maybe from some book or some. DBMS stands for Database Management System. DBMS and RDBMS are both softwares that will help you define, create, maintain database, give controlled admin rights, everything. But the one difference here is that the relational database management system is an advanced version of DBMS. The DBMS stores all your data as a file, whereas RDBMS stores the data in a tabular format, in a table. Okay, so that is the main difference between RDBMS and DBMS. Both of them will do same thing, but RDBMS is a bit advanced version of DBMS. DBMS will store data in a file, RDBMS will store it in a table format. The data elements that you want to access in DBMS, you have to do it individually. While in RDBMS, you can access it at the same time. Huge data can be accessed at the same time. So these are some of the differences between both of them. Next question, what is the example of DBMS? Okay, XML window registry, these are some of the examples. RDBMS examples we already know, isn't it? Oracle is an RDBMS. MySQL is an RDBMS. PostgreSQL is an RDBMS. SQL Server is an RDBMS. Okay, I hope that is making sense. Ma'am, what is the difference between SQL and MySQL? Very good question. You've again heard about MySQL somewhere, isn't it? But we don't know the difference. So let's talk about it. SQL is a structured query language. MySQL is a relational database. Don't get confused between SQL and MySQL ever. SQL is a language, using which you can access the database. But what is MySQL? It's a database. It is the relational database. Okay, you can use the SQL queries to access, update, manipulate the data which is stored in the database. MySQL is something which will store the information. Okay, Ashu, is that clear? MySQL, many of you have asked me. Schemas, database, Vishal Singh, when we come back from break, we are going to cover all these things. What is the online editor for MySQL? I'm going to give it to you soon after the break, guys. What is best, SQL or NoSQL? Okay, that is another very booming question I've asked. I've got the question. SQL and NoSQL. How many of you have heard about SQL and NoSQL? Which is better? Yes. When I talk about SQL or NoSQL, see, as an application developer, you should consider the pros and cons of database SQL or NoSQL, which is available in the industry, right? Major differences between SQL and NoSQL, that is what we wanted to know about. The first main difference, both when I talk about the structure and when I talk about the definition, SQL stands for structured query language. When I talk about the NoSQL, it is that SQL in that NoSQL also stands for structured query language. But when I talk about the difference between both of them, the main difference is the SQL databases are called as relational databases, whereas NoSQL databases are called non-relational. Okay, so when it comes to choosing a database, our biggest decision is should we pick up the relational or non-relational, right? Both of these databases are good options, but there are some differences between which the user should keep in mind. For example, the first thing is the type. SQL databases are primarily called as relational databases. When you talk about NoSQL, they are non-relational, or non-relational means distributed. Okay. In terms of language, SQL databases defines and manipulates the data-based structured query language, and NoSQL doesn't do that. It's a dynamic schema. So these are some of the differences. Then there are some scalability differences. The structure is different in both of them. Okay. All right. So any other questions? We discussed about the different fields of IT in which we can step our career. We looked at some basic terminologies like what is a record, what is row, what is field. We got ourselves comfortable with SQL. We now understand the concept of what is exactly a database. We try to relate that to a big building and a table to the small flats inside that database. We looked into the basic definitions on what is a SQL, the DBMS, the advanced version of DBMS, which is RDBMS. We've looked into how the entire SQL process works, from firing a SQL query or writing a SQL query and fetching the records from the database. We now understand that any application we create has two things. One is the front end and the second is the back end. Front end is what you see. Back end is where the entire information is stored. If it's an Amazon website and on the Amazon website, I wanted to buy a handbag and I search for handbag, all those handbags that you see retrieved on the front end is coming because there is some information which is stored at the back end. So a very basic idea we've got till now. And we've also looked at some terminologies like data, SQL, and editor, isn't it? I've familiarized all of you to the SQL environment. What are the different windows called? We now know what is the editor window, what is the object explorer window, and the place where the results can be seen. After covering all these things, I think it will be a good idea to quickly look at how the SQL Server can be installed. The way this has been put into this slide is the easiest way in which you can install the SQL Server. So in order to install this, you can just click on this link. As you click on this link, I've already opened this link here so that it saves everybody's time. You can see it will take you to this link, microsoft.com, where you would just scroll down, or just you can click on select the language and click on download. As you click on download, a exe file will be downloaded onto your system and you can click on that exe file. So I'll just click on the download option as of now. As I click on download, you can see choose the download that you want. And there are different options which you can see it is asking you. You don't need to select all these options. All you can do is, let's go back to the slide. All you can do is you can select the server file, which is Express 64-bit. These are the two files that you need. The second is the Management Studio 64-bit. That's it. Now, it might be a little challenging to find this exact, this because there are too much of content written. All you can do is just Control F, just search on this website and put the link that you are trying to search. As you click on this, you can see that as you search on this window, you will see that Express 64-bit SQL Express 64EX is there. You can check this option. Go back to the to the slide, and you can again select this option, which is the second option of the Management Studio file. As you select this, you can again in the search for this text and click on this checkbox. So only these two exe files are needed. Once you have clicked on both these exe files, you can click on the next. As you click on the next, it will take you through some steps, download the exe file, and that's all. Pretty straightforward installation. And I hope everybody would be able to do it by tomorrow. If you get time, if you have appropriate system, please try your best to get it done. Okay. We will not spend too much time on the installation because I want to focus more and more on the concepts, right? Any documentation, any instructions that you're not sure of, you can just click on this link, www.microsoft.com. It will step-by-step guide you what needs to be done. So just give it a try. If you already have SQL Server installed, you can ignore this slide. If you have official laptop and for some reasons you cannot do the SQL Server installations, it could be memory issues or whatever issues are there, you can skip this step. But let's say if you have everything is fine, why not? Please go ahead and do the setup. Okay. Now, if you do not have the SQL Server installed, there is an alternative, and there is an alternative to all the editors actually. Let's say I wanted to code in Python and I don't have the editor or the system set up on my system, the language and the editor are not set up, I can go for an online version of that. Similarly, there is an online editor which you can use. How did I get these links? I just went to Google and I searched for online SQL editor. As I clicked on online SQL editor, you can see there are different options from W3 Schools, My Compiler, JTutor, Tutorials Point. Any editor you feel comfortable with, you can choose, right? Because I always say, it doesn't matter which notebook you're writing on. What you're writing matters, isn't it? So any editor you feel comfortable with, go ahead. For our training, I would go with maybe any one of them. How about SQL Try-It editor? Okay, so we would go with this editor. The setup also I have shown you. In addition to this, this is the link of the online editor. If you want, let me just copy this link and put it on chat for everybody. All you have to do is search for online SQL editors. Any questions till now? Anything you want to ask me about the setup or the editors? No, Ashish, no. Okay, Rohit, MySQL. Okay, send the SQL link. SQL link is already shared, guys. If you just stop typing for a minute, it will be available to everyone. Let me share it one more time. Okay, brilliant. Now let's move on to the next thing. And in the next thing, what we are going to talk about are the 3 categories of SQL statements. This is very important slide. And if you can master, if you can understand this slide with me in the session itself, it will be wonderful. Okay, so let's dive into it. Now we know what is SQL, we know what is database. We're going to talk about what all are the SQL statements. And you know what, even before we talk about SQL statements, let's first write in the chat, or let's discuss as a team, what all are the operations that you perform on the database. What all you can do to a database. Imagine I had a database of Amazon, right? What all things I can do? What all things can we do? Can we write into that database? Yes. Can we read from those databases? Yes. Can we delete? Yes. Can we update? Yes. Alter? Yes. These are the different things. So the way SQL has kind of classified or grouped its language, its operations, it's done it in a very beautiful way. They have done it in these 4 pillars. What are those 4 pillars? The first one is DDL, the second is DML, the next is the DQL, and the fourth is the DCL. This is how they have grouped different operations in the buckets. Okay, so the first pillar or the bucket is the DDL, which stands for Data Definition Language. DML as the M word. What is the M here means? It says manipulate, change. So data manipulation language. Data query language, something which will help you to select. Then you have the data control language. Control what? Control the access rights. Not everybody in the company will have an access to delete the record. Imagine how much disastrous that can be, isn't it? Right? So this is how it's been all grouped. In terms of my data definition languages, there are 3 commands or 3 statements which I can use. I can create, I can change, and I can drop. So I can create a database, alter a database, drop a database. I can create a table, alter the table, drop. I can manipulate the data inside the database or the tables. I can insert a record. Let's say I wanted to put some more information. I wanted to update the existing information. I wanted to delete from the information. So these are some operations which are classified under DML. We then have some statements which helps you to fetch the records. How about select? Select will give you the results. And then we have grant and revoke, which will help you to grant the access to the people or revoke the accesses. Okay, is this all clear? The different buckets in which all the queries or basically the commands are placed. All right. Okay, some of you asked me about TCL. Yes, you can include that also inside this category. TCL stands for Transaction Control Commands or Transaction Control Language. So I've not listed it here because that will be in our upcoming slides. But TCL means, let's say you've done some operation on the database and you are 100% confirmed that this is how it should be. You can commit. Commit means done. So inside this TCL, you've got further 3 commands or statements. The first one is the commit, right? The next is rollback. Let's say you did accidentally some change in the database which you didn't want to. You can roll back. And then you've got a save point, which we will talk about. So these are some different TCL controls, the transactional control statements, transaction control statements. So now let us look into some of these statements by just running them on our existing database, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this editor. Just before I go to the editor, consider this is my table, right? In this table, what I've got different people, their name, their age, their address, and their salary has been listed. This is one of my tables in my database. What all can I do? I can add the 8th record, which could be details of Priyanka, right? Or I could, let's say, update the address of Chaitali, who was living in Mumbai to Delhi. I could also remove the details of Killen, right? I could read the entire table. These are the different operations which I can perform, isn't it? So in order to perform these operations, let's have a look what all are the different statements. The very first statement is create, something which helps you to create. And what is the syntax? What is the rule? The syntax or the rule is we will use a command create and we will give the table name. So if you're creating a database, you will create database name. If you're creating a table, you will give create name of the table. What is the name of the table? EMP. What is the EMP table? This is the EMP table. So I wanted to create the table EMP and I wanted to give some fields. What are the fields? I wanted to give the roll number, the employee ID. I wanted to put the age of the employee and I wanted to put the class, right? If you very carefully observe this, you've got this name of the fields, which makes sense. But then there are some fields like char, int, char. What is this actually? These are the different data types. Yes, Venkatesh, very good. Very good, Suraj. So these are the different data types. Character is going to help you store the character values, alphabetical values. So roll number, for example, character is the data type. 5 means that maximum of 5 can be stored. 20 here means maximum of 20, which can be stored. Then we've got an int. Int is basically for integer. And then we've got a char. So we have a module in which we'll talk about the different data types. But just to list some of the data types, we've got char, varchar, date, number. We've got a data type called large object. Right? These are some of the data types which we use in this. So this is the syntax: create table, give the name of the table, give the column 1, column 2, column 3. You can give the data types, and that's all. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Okay, let me give you a quick question before we go ahead. What I want you to do is, I want you to create a table. Okay, let's quickly do some exercise. We will create a table. The name of the table will be Amazon customer details. This is the table. So how would you put this? Let's say we're just going to denote it like this. Okay. You need to think of the valid fields. How many fields? Let's think about some valid, these many fields. We will think about the 6 fields, right? And we will create this table. And in order to create this table, you have to think what query you will write. Your query, when I run it on the SQL editor or online editor or whichever editor I write, should be able to create the table for me. The name of the table is Amazon Cust Details. You will be thinking of the field names and give an appropriate data type. Okay, let's quickly do this. If you are confident you've done it, you can write the answer in the chat. Let's just do quickly practice. And for this program, we are considering that the database is up and running. It's already there, just the table we have to create. Okay, the very first step anyways is going to be the database creation, but we are assuming the database is up and ready and we're just creating the table. So please quickly, I'll give you 3-4 minutes time. Quickly write the query and share it in the chat. Superb, guys, got a lot of queries. Yes, we are going to specify some columns as we discussed. So let us look at how the answer can be written. The one query that could be, we can give create table, name of the customer, name of the table. Whatever column name you have decided, you can give the column name. And finally, you can provide some data types, right? On this column, one additional thing that I wanted to show you from this assignment is, on this particular table, you can decide what will be my primary key. Now, what is the meaning of word primary key? It is one of the constraints that you put inside your table, where you say that whatever thing that I put as a primary key will be a unique value, right? For example, Amazon maintains the records of its customer. So the cust ID is something which is unique, isn't it? There could be multiple customers with name Priyanka. There could be multiple customers who are living in Bangalore. There are multiple customers with age 56. So is that a primary key? No. Primary key is something which is unique, right? Something which cannot duplicate itself. So you can provide a primary key to any column that you create, and that is called one of the constraints, right? So I hope it's clear how do we create tables. The next thing that we wanted to see, once I have created a table, how do I add the values in that table? If you want to add the values in the table, what would you use? You will use a insert command. Okay. How do you want to select the commands? How do you want to select the information from the database? Through the select command. So let's see some of these. Even before I show you the list of all the data types, let's go to our online editor maybe, and let's practice some of these concepts. Okay. So on this online editor, you can see that I've got a database. Database has different tables: customers, categories, employees, order details, orders, product, shippers, suppliers. How many records are there? If I click on the customers, you can see in total 91 records are there in this table. Name of the table is your database, and these are the table names. Categories is another table. Similarly, employees is another table. These are all the tables that I've got. And let's say I wanted to select from the employees. So what will be my query? So if I write my query like this and I click on this run SQL command, you will see that as I run this query, it will fetch all the details from this employees table and give me the information, right? So as I click on this, you can terminate it with a semicolon, run this SQL, you will see that it will provide all the details. Right? How about I change this employees to products? Whatever name that you will be giving here or your table name, you will run it. You can see now it is giving me the information of all the products. How about the different orders which the customers are making? So what is the query? Select star from orders. This is how you can practice on these online editors. On your editors, which like SQL that you will install, you definitely need to have a database setup first, which you can create, and a table structure inside that. The next query, just before we move ahead and look into the other queries, let's quickly take a look at the different data types. I hope you all can see my PowerPoint presentation. In this PowerPoint presentation, you can see the list of all the data types. This is int, small int, decimal, money, float. All these data types have a range, right? So for example, if it is int, this is the from range and this is the to. So that means it will start from this range of numbers and it will go to the to range of numbers. Similarly, with small int, decimal, money, float. These are the different data types which are going to work on numbers. But you have some data types which will work on the characters. They are char, varchar, text. Difference between char and varchar, maximum length here also is 8,000 characters. And in the case of the varchar also it is maximum 8,000. But when I talk about the text, you can see that the maximum length has increased, isn't it? So char, varchar, text, these are some different data types which you can use on characters. A quick answer on some of you are asking what is the difference between varchar and the varchar in V refers to variable length. So character, if you're using a char and you're sure that, let's say you're going to take the initials of a person, right? The full name is Priyanka Sharma, but your field will only store the initials. So initials will be PS. So you know maximum of 2 characters are needed, right? So character will be used where you have a fixed length string data type. Right? You don't want to take the memory which you will not use. It's not a good idea. So char is for fixed, varchar is basically for variable length string. So if you are not sure what data you are going to put, how many characters, you can use varchar. Okay, that is a quick difference between char and varchar. Similarly, we have got some data types for the time, right? We have got some miscellaneous data types for image. So date time, small date time, date and time, and image are the miscellaneous data types. Okay, so coming to the assignment, let me quickly explain this assignment. As I said, this assignment is just for practice. This is not something which will be evaluated, or the certificate is not based on this, as Mr. Ravi explained you before, but this is for practice and I really recommend all of you to do this assignment. Okay, it'll be a good learning thing. On whatever database that you want to install, first of all, try installing the SQL database and then create some tables. Once the table is created, what you do is, first step will be create the database demo. So just give it a name demo. Create a table EMP. What will be the query used for creating the database demo? Create database and give the name of the database. You will create a table EMP. Once you've done that, you will be basically searching the EID, name, address, city, date of birth, phone number, email ID, and it should all be populated inside your table. What is the name of the table? EMP. So for example, if it is employee ID, it should come like this, E001, right? So put some 10 records in that and try to use the select query, insert query, and the select, insert, and update. Just try these. Update, if you're not able to do, we have anyways going to discuss tomorrow, but please try to complete this assignment. When we catch up tomorrow, we will talk about SQL clauses, normalization concepts, the different constraints that we have in databases, right? We will talk about the update statement, how you can change the tables, truncate. We have already the DML statements, the TCL, the different operators, how you can operate on the databases, right? So all those things we are going to talk about. Default, null, check, primary key, foreign key constraints, and we will also look at some clauses and a brief introduction to the joins. So this will be our target for tomorrow, which we will be working on. In addition to that, you will see some additional information on this slide, which I will share with you, which you can read it.